Ready with me while I tell you all the fuck things that men said to me at work last night. So my friend and I were booked on a job last night. I was the topless poker dealer and she was the topless waitress. And the guy that booked us proceeded to tell us that women over the age of 35 are completely useless to men because we are no longer fit to bear children. I would just really love to know who's doing all the unpaid domestic labour in this phenomenon he's describing, because I highly doubt it's a man. Not to mention that women dominate the care industry. And that is women who are specifically not of childbearing age, because those women, shockingly, are out bearing children. He then proceeded to tell us how sex workers are completely useless to society, which is just ironic because we were at a booking that he paid for, and how we would never end up with a partner because no one would ever date a sex worker. Also, when he told us to take off our high heels because he said that we were too tall when we wore shoes, he was just screaming small chorizo energy. At the next job I went to, the guy wouldn't stop pressuring me to do full service despite me being hired as a topless waitress. When I told him I had a partner who was a girl, he told me that he just didn't get that and that he didn't understand how someone could choose women. He also kept reiterating to me that he couldn't be gay because he was an alpha male. I was like, first of all, if you're self-appointing yourself an alpha male, then you're not an alpha male. Second of all, if you're telling me you're an alpha male, then you're not an alpha male. He was so homophobic, it was like any resemblance to a gay person, and he was just fucking freaking out. He then proceeded to detail the hate crimes that his friend had committed against a trans woman. Thankfully, that is when my time was up, so I was allowed to leave.
Get ready with me while I tell you how I committed credit card fraud at 12 years old. So I was in 7th grade, and after school, like every Friday, there was this thing right next to my middle school called Uptown, which was basically just like a bunch of businesses, and there was a movie theater and like a bunch of restaurants. And it was the place to be every Friday after school. It's where all the drama went down. It's where everything happened. Like if you weren't there, you were nobody. So obviously I had to go like every single weekend. But the thing is, the only thing that you could really do when you were there is like run around and buy food and spend money. And obviously in 7th grade, I didn't have any money of my own, and my parents refused to give me money to spend there. But all of my friends were really wealthy, so they always had money to spend there. But obviously I'm not going to be the only one there not spending money, is what my 7th grade brain thought. Like I couldn't possibly let them know I didn't have money for Uptown. So I had to figure out another way to get money to spend. And at the time, I was absolutely obsessed with Starbucks. Like I had to have my peach green tea and my lemon loaf always. Which is kind of funny because I work there now, but I definitely did not have the funds to be buying it every single weekend. Because Starbucks is fucking expensive. So one of my older sisters had just opened a credit card and I had to buy us concert tickets. And she said I could put them on her credit card if I paid her back. But I wasn't with her when I was buying them, so she sent me a picture of the credit card details. I'm sure you can see where this is going. So I bought the concert tickets and she was like, you need to delete that picture immediately. Like, you cannot have it, you cannot use that credit card, you need to delete it. So naturally, I was like, yeah, of course, I would never spend your money. Like, of course I'll delete it right now. But then it clicked to me, I was like, wait, this is a way to have like infinite money to spend uptown. But I knew I couldn't use the card like at a business if I didn't have the physical card. So I started to think of ways like, how can I use this credit card to be able to spend money without actually having it? And then I remembered that you can put a credit card on your Starbucks app to auto reload when you run out of money. So naturally, the moment I had that thought, I immediately went to my Starbucks app and typed in her credit card info. And when it went through and I loaded that first $10, I was like, oh my God, I'm fucking golden. And I guess I really didn't understand how credit cards worked back then because I was thinking like, there's no way she'll be able to trace this back to me. So now that I had this infinite money source, I wasn't just going to Starbucks on Fridays after school. I started going like every day, before school, after school, anytime I could, I was at that Starbucks using her money. Like buying my friend's Starbucks, everything. And this went on for like about a month until she got her first credit card bill. And I heard her basically crying to my mom about how someone had spent almost $500 at Starbucks with her card. And their first thought was that it was me, but I swore up and down on my grave that I did not spend her money. So they called the credit card company and reported fraud. And I thought I was still home free, but then the credit card company got the security footage from Starbucks. And they sent it to my sister and said, do you know this person? And there I was, scanning my card with all my friends. And when I tell you my mom had to literally hold my sister back from beating my ass, like the look of anger in her eyes was indescribable. So they ended up still going through with the fraud claim. And thankfully she got her money back, and since I was a minor, nothing really happened to me. Definitely wasn't allowed uptown anymore though.
Ready with me while I tell you guys about the time I literally had to sprint in the pitch black woods from the cops. Literally can't make my life up. I should have been on like a reality TV show. So it's the middle of the summer and, you know, me and my friends, it was kind of like around the pandemic time. So we're trying to like stay inside, be safe. And we get this text that there's going to be a bonfire woodsy party on the island by where we live at. We're like, you know what? Fuck it. It's gonna be outside. We haven't been out. We've been super safe. Like, let's just go out for one night. We'll be cautious, whatever. Let's go to this freaking party. Walk a certain trail to get back into the area at the island where everything was at. It's like a 15-20 minute walk. So we take the walk, we bring our drinks, we meet up with everybody. Everything's going so great. We're having such a good time. I don't know where you guys are from. Facebook is a really big thing, but where I live, like we have like resident pages for each town and there's always some like drama filled shit going on. So we find out that some older kid than us post in the residence page about how we were doing this illegal bonfire party out in the woods during the pandemic, like all this crazy shit. Maybe if he was actually concerned with the reasons he was giving, but really it was just because he wasn't invited because he's old as fuck. So, you know, we all hear about it, we think nothing of it. Come to find out, he calls the cops. And at this time, you know, not all of us are of the drinking age. All sitting out there, I mean, we had a massive table out there for drinking games. Like, we have the bonfire going, there's coolers, there's Jeeps everywhere. Like, we were set there, okay? And all of a sudden, I look into the woods and you just see this massive white light coming. And right away, I'm like, that's the fucking cops. Look around, nobody's noticing it. So I'm thinking like, should I not say something? Because what if it's not the cops? Like, I don't want to be the girl who gets invited to this party and then yells, the cops are here, and it's not the cops. I should have said the cops are here. Guys are talking to me and I guess they like notice that I'm like literally not listening to them, and they look in the direction I'm looking at and they're like, holy fucking shit, it's the fucking cops. But they yell it out to the party. Go to part two.
Part two, y'all. So everyone runs. Imagine a whole bunch of drunk people running from the cops. That doesn't play out well. So everyone's dropping their stuff. Like, there's stuff all around the parking lot. Like, and we all run the same direction, but then a lot of people split off. And I was one of those people that split off to go somewhere else. So I'm with this one boy named Rico. I know him, but he doesn't really know me. Like, we talked like one time. And it was barely in conversation. So we don't really know each other, but we're still with each other. We're like calling our rides. We're like, hey, I'm calling my mom. Like, hey, mom, you got to come on. Like, the cops got called. Like, let's go. She's in no rush to get me, y'all. She was not trying to. She was like, okay. She does this every time I'm running away from the cops. This is the second time. The second time. And she's still not on her way to get me. Like, oh my God. So then everyone finds me and Rico, and they come, and we're all like, yeah, we got to stick together and whatnot. There's still police officers driving past us and everything. They didn't stop us though. And so then, some people jumped in the cars. Like, some people that rode together jumped in the cars together and like left. And some people didn't have a ride home. Now, I didn't know everybody at the party, so I'm not going to give everybody a ride home. That's just, no. But Brooke, the one who threw the party, she didn't have a ride home. So what do I look like not getting one of my friends a ride home? So my mom comes. I say, hey, mom, like, can Brooke come? So can we drop her off home? My mom's like, yeah, sure. Where does she live? You tell her where she lives. She's like, okay. We're having a good conversation in the car with my mom, and that was the night. I told Brooke to text me when she got home to make sure she was safe, make sure everything was okay, because, again, what kind of friend I look like if I didn't do that? Y'all, I'm just that type of friend. Like, I make sure my friends are okay. I make sure everything's fine. That's just me. I don't know about y'all, but I'm going to do that. So, that was the end of that night. It was very eventful. I went home and I took a shower and I went straight to sleep. I was just so overwhelmed about everything that happened that I just wanted to go to sleep. So I did. So that's the end of the story time, y'all. I love y'all so much. As always, bye.
I saw this article today of like girls telling their private
schoolgirl stories, and I was like, this was made for me. Like, I need to do this. I have so many bad stories. Starting off with an absolute banger, I got suspended multiple times for having two-toned hair. So like, you weren't allowed to have like brown and blonde in your hair. It had to be one colour. One time also I got eyelash extensions, which was not allowed. So my coordinator literally made me sit in her office and pick them out of my eyes, like, and this was like full-on mega volume ones, and I was like, this one time in year 7, I'm still traumatized from this moment. My PE teacher, I had chewing gum, and my PE teacher caught me, and she made me put it in my pocket of my pants and like smack my pants and be like, I'm a very bad girl. So it like stuck in my pants, and like, don't come at me like, why would you do that? I was in year 7. I was very scared for my life. Yeah. And if we wore PE uniform and it wasn't like a PE wearing day, we would get after school detentions and have to write out like the first 10 pages of our school planner. Like, not do homework or something like productive, just like rewrite the planner. We also weren't allowed to wear like Nike socks or like Adidas socks or anything. So like, if we did that, we'd get an after school. There was also teachers like waiting at the gate to see if you're wearing your blazer when you're leaving school, because you weren't allowed to wear your jumper if you didn't have your blazer on. Like, I still don't understand that rule, or any of the rules, to be honest, but whatever. And if your dress wasn't knee length, as I was saying, yeah, if your dress wasn't knee length, see you later, seriously. Okay, and we're done.